All right, welcome back. Remember that Leanne is still coming to you live from the Sandton Convention Center in Emona, Gauteng. That is for the Proud to South African Buy Local Summit and Expo. She is here, back with us, of course, and now she's joined by Minister Lindiwe Zulu, the Minister for Small Business Development. Minister Lindiwe Zulu. Lee, over to you.
Palesa, thanks very, very much. It is a hive of activity here at the Exhibition Centre. This is actually the second day of the summit that's taking place, and I think it's a brand new format of the Proudly SA gathering. It's the Buy Local Summit, and it's usually all over one day, but they've decided to break it up into 2 days now. So today is the opening of the exhibition, which I think is really a highlight. So you've got all these beautiful companies that are represented by Proudly South African here that are showcasing their goods, and of course it's a great networking tool for many of these businesses to try and get contracts. And then there's the summit that takes place as well, where you've got some great keynote speakers that are going to be addressing the local business environment as we find ourselves. Well, as Palesa said, it's great at this point to be joined by our small development minister, that of course our small business development minister, Lindiwe Zulu. Minister, good to have you on the program. Welcome.
Good morning. It's always good to speak to you.
Yeah, I mean, you have a look at a summit like this, you see these companies all gather, these proudly South African companies. How does it make you feel, especially being in charge of the business side of things?
This is the future, Leanne, I must say, because it's time for small and medium enterprises in particular, black-owned, women-owned, youth-owned. It's time for them to rise to the occasion. And rising to the occasion is about what support do they have in order for them to be able to do what they've been able to do here and beyond just being here. It's about strengthening these companies that are here. And of course, we want to thank the sponsors too, because they've made it very possible. But the top people here are the exhibitors here, who have just come here to showcase what they can produce locally, because we're saying local is lekker. It's time we also started buying local as far as we possibly can.
Yeah. Well, in your opinion, what makes a proudly South African company?
It's when the entire value chain of production of a product is made in South Africa, firstly. But secondly, it's also when the innovation itself and the creativity itself is purely South African. That's what makes it a proudly South African product ultimately. When it is received by whoever is buying, they buy it and they look at it and they know that, one, the jobs have been created here at home. Two, they know that the entire value chain of production is local material and all. Yeah. That's what makes it proudly South African.
Yeah, indeed. And also the job creation aspect of it, because you always, people don't realize when you pick up a locally produced product as opposed to imported product. I mean, people don't realize what that one specific product is doing to the lives of South Africans, because there's this ricochet effect of people that worked on it, people that are in the factories, the people that are being educated, the houses that are being built. I mean, this is the reality of buying local.
That's the reality of buying local, and it's also a mindset shift, because I think that as South Africans in the main, and this is because of our historical past really, that we're still admiring and consuming other things that come from somewhere, because we believe that if it comes from somewhere else, then it's the best. It's time we changed our minds, because once it's locally produced, it also means that the money circulates within South Africa. So when we talk about radical economic transformation, is about how can we empower our own to begin to realize that we can beneficiate in South Africa instead of sending our minerals outside of the country and bringing it back when they charge us much more. We've got the capacity now as South Africans. I think, well, it's 23 years of democracy, but I think that right now I'm very excited as a Minister of Small Business Development, because I see youngsters, I see young people who are so creative, who are so innovative, who are so excited about what is happening in the country, despite the fact that we're facing challenges here and there. Now we are told that we've been downgraded to junk. This is an opportunity for South Africans to actually start looking at, is there capital around us? Is there ways and means that we can do to make sure that we deal with this whole issue of being downgraded by Standard & Poor and all those people who come from somewhere else. It's time we looked very deep internally about how we can deal with those things.
Yes. It is a big worry, and I think South Africans are waking up exceptionally worried today after the news we heard. And then, of course, we've got another ratings agency, Moody's, that are also now considering downgrading South Africa to junk status. What does this mean for businesses? Because at the end of the day, from what I understand and many other South Africans, is that investors do not want to invest in a country that has a junk status. So how do we work around this? How do we change the narrative?
Look, Leanne, this country comes a long way. We shall rise, even in this particular case. We shall rise. I am confident that South Africans collectively are going to talk to each other. They're going to converse with each other and say, how do we deal with this situation as it is? It's not going to last for very long because, look, on the one hand, we're talking about an economy that is now growing a little bit, albeit a little bit. We're talking about an economy that is growing. We're talking about peace, security and stability here in our country. We're talking about people who wake up in the morning to say what can they do for themselves to make sure that South Africa becomes a better place. I am 100% sure that we shall rise. We've been in worse situations than this, but as a country, I'm sure we will rise above it.
Yeah. Well, we certainly do hope so, because it's these small companies that, and not that there's only small companies here represented, because they're very big companies represented, but it's the small businesses, those businesses that are very fragile and that need all the help that they can, that get hammered most, because obviously their turnovers are not as big as the major ones. So it's, as you say, it's being clever in times like this, it really is. But as long as government assists, what kind of programs are there for assistance?
Well, from the Department of Small Business Development, let me just say that people must not also only focus on what the Department of Small Business Development does in assisting small and small and medium enterprises, because we are yet a small department. Even our budget is not yet big. What is important here is to look at what is available for small and medium enterprises throughout the government, throughout all the departments, from national, local and provincial. You would find that all these departments are assisting, because government has recently, also you are aware that government has said 30% procurement must go to small and medium enterprises, and in particular black-owned companies. That on its own is big enough, because if government is saying that the expenditure is about 600 and something billion, how much of that is going to go to small and medium enterprises? Are the small and medium enterprises ready to take advantage of any opportunities and possibilities that present themselves from a government point of view?
Just finally, as we begin to wrap up here, Minister, we talk about some deals that were signed yesterday, because I know that there are a lot of business opportunities here at this Buy Local Summit. What were some of the deals that were signed yesterday?
Yesterday we signed with Nestle. We spoke to Nestle 2 years ago about them supporting small and medium enterprises in their value chain. Then we signed the deal where they are going to be able to assist small and medium enterprises through training, enterprise development and all. But what is important for us is they must open up the opportunity for products that are coming from small and medium enterprises. And Nestle is a global company, it's not just a South African company. So we're calling on small and medium enterprises to begin to look at what are the opportunities in there. There'll be other deals that are going to be signed, obviously, by others. But what is important for me here is the public-private partnership that is for real, that's not ticking in the box, that's opening up opportunities for women, youth and black people in general. It's about changing the economy of South Africa to benefit those that didn't benefit before.
Fantastic. Minister, thank you for talking to us. Have a great day. There's a great atmosphere here at the Buy Local Summit. There really is. We've got the Minister who's with us, of course, Lindiwe Zulu, and we're going to be having Minister Rob Davies as well as Minister Ram Patel, who are going to be here at this particular Buy Local Summit, and they'll be soon to cut this ribbon and officially open the exhibition so that South Africans can come through and have a look at all of this. All right, let's take a break. We'll see you again in the next hour here on Morning Live. We'll see you with the news after this.